and whether they were flat, they had that energy on them, right?
Mhm.
The spiral energy, or I found one that was, like, long and all the spirals came down.
Yeah.
And again, thinking about how nature could teach us, I think there's really a lot of power in that energy. When you said you want to talk about spirals, I was like, yes, because I've been using that same energy. I've been called to use that same energy right
Yeah.
now. I've
Mhm.
been called to teach about that energy. And I think about, like, sometimes I say this word wrong, mandalas. Think
Oh,
about
the
the
mandalas,
energy
yeah,
of a
mhm.
mandala. I used to have
Yeah.
one painted in my energy room. My good friend
Mhm.
painted it. Everything in that is spirals. Everything
Yeah.
in that imaging is spirals and circles,
Mhm.
right? I think the detriment to it is what you started with. The hamster wheel is not what we wanna
Yeah.
use. We wanna
Mhm.
let the circle or the spiral energy
Evolve.
flow,
Mhm.
evolve. Yes. Yes, 100%. Yeah, and it's almost like a to me, it's sacred geometry. It's an image of
Yeah.
I mean, that is we're gifted with these images and this sacred geometry and the power within that. So it's really cool that this has been showing up for you in many ways. It's speaking to you.
Yeah. It hasn't stopped.
No,
It's
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 not
like yeah,
stopping.
it's like, "Learn, lady.
Yeah.
You need to, see this." Yeah, it's so cool because like, I think about, like, evolution, expansion, um, the expansiveness of, like, I think even think, like, we sometimes circles can feel protective, and I love I like circle imagery. I think that there's opposition in all imagery, right, and symbols and,
Yeah.
like, the way we can look at things. But I think about, like, sometimes a circle when we're in circles or when we're in this cycle or the hamster wheel, it's a form of protection, right? And so when you step out of it, that's when you're evolving in the evolution of coming out of it, or you could be going back into self, like, if you've left self,
Yeah.
like I started with, and I think that, like, the circles protect us in a way, and the only way we can evolve or grow is when we return to center or we exit or we expand and grow or we let go or we sit, we talked about it in the Metatron episode about sitting in the uncomfortable and being in the uncomfortable. And then what happens when you sit in the uncomfortable? You grow, you learn, you evolve, it's that outward momentum, and what I speaking of momentum, I love the spiral because it's movement, and I love movement. I'm
Yes.
a movement person, like, I've said it many, many times, like, stagnation is not my thing, and so the feeling of a spiral is that there's movement happening, like, it's not samesies, but I love what you said about the softness of it, and it's honing into the softness of the energy where it's not stopping in those hard edges, it's not rigid, it's in flow. Water moves, the waves have, like, a spiral look to them, like, when they come out and then they crash in, right? Like, think about, your fingerprint, I actually found it really
Yeah.
interesting. Tressa was talking in the Metatron episode, which is the one before this, where she mentioned, like, the eye of a storm, and, like, a spiral is the eye of, like, the storm, like, there's the eye of the storm, like, a hurricane is a spiral, or, you think about a tornado is a spiral, like, there are just so many ways that nature can show us this image, and you think about in the center of self, the center of calm, the center of, like, who we need to be, who we need to ground into, but, like, once it's cleared out, like, there's usually something that comes from it, right? Like, after the spiraling, that's the clearing and the movement of it, a storm doesn't just stay, it keeps moving, and, like, it keeps going, and then eventually it ends, right? Like, there's some
Mhm.
form of an end to it, and then you move into the next whatever, whereas a circle, there is no ending. So, like, when you think about that part of growth and movement, I feel like it was really cool to study more into a spiral lately about, like, more of that movement.